Hi, I'm Deborah Bringelson, and my mission today is to help you understand why you don't have the money and success that you want and that you deserve. And as we get started, I'm going to say a couple of things that you might find a little scary, but trust me, it's not. It's not as complicated as it initially will sound to you. Think of it like this. You don't need to understand how to make electricity in order to flip the light switch and make the lights work, right? You don't have to understand all of that. You just have to push the button, lift the lever. Okay, well, what I want to talk to you about is very similar to that. How you can get the money and the success that you want and that you deserve by flipping the switch. That's what I do. I worked with people, thousands of people around the world. I've worked with people like Richard Branson and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and even a couple of presidents. And while those names might sound fancy, they're people just like you are. They are, I promise you that. And all we really need to understand is how to flip that switch, to change our lives, to have the money and the success that we want and that I know you deserve. So stick with me for the next 14 minutes, and I'm going to show you how you can do it yourself. There's one proven way to supercharge your results and your life. And it's how you get to the root of every problem, whether it's in your life or in your business. And it's quantum physics. Now, before you panic and say, I'm not Einstein and I don't understand all that complicated math, what I'm talking about is practical quantum physics that you can actually use. So how do you do it? When we're piercing the quantum veil, and so we're our human form, and we're source energy, which is the biggest part of us. And when we're trying to get that all to line up, we want source to take over, basically. We want to get our human form that sees the world. We can see the horizon, but we can't see way up here. We want to get that human form out of the way. And there are 4 components that we want to come to a point where everything's going in the same direction. And, a lot of people talk about, well, your thoughts create your reality. And to some extent, that's true. What you think about is what you're focused on, and your emotions go with that. So if you're thinking about something and you've got, energy running through your head, a great way to think about this is like if somebody cuts you off in traffic and you think an angry thought about them, and then the emotion of it starts pulsing. So that's thoughts and emotions. That's the weaker of the combinations. The more powerful of the combinations are your core beliefs and your feelings. So your body was designed to give you information about your environment, about actions that you might take. Over thousands of years, we've been taught to turn that off and not listen to it. So like the hairs that go up on the back of your neck if you're potentially in danger, that's a remnant of what's left over of that body feeling. And a big part of what we want to do is we want to allow that body feeling to come back. When you have a belief, like one of the most common ones is, I'm not good enough. So when you have a belief that I'm not good enough, and an opportunity comes to you, let's say it's a brand new client who's going to pay you a ton of money, and you have this belief that you're not good enough, what's going to happen is you're going to have a feeling come up in your body. And you really want to pay attention to that, because what that's telling you is that your source energy, that bigger part of you, knows that this is amazing. And your body, your human self, is saying, oh, that's scary for some reason. And that's what will stop you from receiving what you actually want. So there's one more component to this. Your thoughts project out. So you send out thoughts to the universe. Send me an amazing new client who's going to take care of all of my financial needs until I'm ready to sell my business, something like that. Your beliefs and your feelings are magnetic and they draw in, so that your thoughts and your emotions project out, your feelings and your beliefs pull in. And what we want to do is we want to get all of those four components all moving in the same direction.
So most people believe that the most important part of this are your thoughts and the emotions that run through your head. And while they do have power, they actually aren't the most powerful. The real power is in your core beliefs and the feelings that run through your body.
Core beliefs are things that are deeply buried within you. You learned a lot of them as you were growing up, and they're radiating out those feelings that are in your body, those feelings of panic, like you get a really high bill that you were unexpecting, and all of a sudden your body lights up with feelings of panic. That affects even more strongly. That those feelings are fuel on the fire for what you're creating in your life. I'll give you an example. I had a client that I was working with who was really struggling. And I said to him, after I got to know him, I think that what's going on with you is related to your relationship with your father. And he said, "What? Are you crazy? I have a really great relationship with my father." The reason he thought that is because he wanted to be, and he believed he was a good person, and he was. And he believed that good people have great relationships with their parents, which is not always necessarily true. Now, his dad was someone who would come into the company 3 or 4 times a week. He didn't work there, but he would just show up. And he was frequently saying things like, "You don't have what it takes to run a company. Why are you doing this crazy thing? When are you going to smarten up and sell the company and get a real job?" So every time he came in, the CEO would have these feelings of fear and panic going through his body. Was his dad maybe right that he wasn't good enough? And every time he would make a decision, he would question what he was doing, and he would make erratic decisions because he was always trying to prove that he was good enough. Once we cleared away all of those core beliefs, or many of the big ones, his business actually doubled in revenue in just a few months.
Or how about this? Can you imagine clearing away your number one block to money and success and growing your revenue more than 3,000% in under 12 months?
Nadia and I had been working together for a while. We'd done the strategies, own your market. We'd gotten her out of the marketing death trap, and she wasn't making any money. And I will be honest, I was starting to sweat. And finally I said to her, "Nadia, I think you're blocking money energetically. And I'd like to do some energetic work with you to help find what that is and clear it away." She was game. So we met on a Friday. And what we discovered is that she had come from a wealthy family, and she believed that she didn't deserve money because she'd never really done anything to earn it. So she was blocking money. So I did some energy work with her. We cleared out that, and within 8 days, she made $298 million. So what are the things that you may not even be aware of that are affecting your success? And how do you clear that away? So you're smart enough to know that I can't, within the next few minutes, teach you everything that you could ever want to know about quantum physics. But I am going to give you a tool that's really going to get you off to a great start. The first thing is understanding what it is that is blocking you and affecting you. And for more than 90% of the people, it's some sort of fear. So clearing out that fear is your first step, getting to that number one block to money and success. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take you through a process to help you move from fear to joy in just a few seconds. Now, here's something to understand. It is physically impossible for you to carry the energy of fear and at the same time the energy of joy. You can't do it. So if you're in a fearful situation, or if you're in a situation where you're angry, maybe you're unhappy with one of your employees, or something isn't going right, that energy is going to get transmitted out into your world. And we can actually measure this. There are machines that we have that can measure this, but the number one way to measure it actually is with the human body. Other people can feel it. So let's say one of your salespeople is sitting in a sales situation, and they've got a smile on their face and they're saying all the right things about your product or service, but in their body, they're in fear mode, and they may not even recognize it themselves, but they're thinking, I've got to make this sale. How am I going to make the mortgage? I'm not doing a good job being a parent. I'm always worried about money. I'm always stressed. I've got to make this sale. So their face and their words are saying things that are not congruent with what is happening in their body. And the person they're talking to may not understand why they don't trust them, but they won't trust them. Something will trigger them and make them think that they're lying. And the same is true for any conversation that you're having. If you're talking to someone and the words you're saying, even if you're smiling and positive, are out of congruence with what is going on in your body, they will not trust you either. So what can you do about that? And this is something that I recommend that you do every day. Do it right now, and do it multiple times a day. Maybe even teach it to your team. This is one simple, fast thing you can do when you're under stress. What I want you to do is put your pen down and play along, because this is a doing thing. This isn't a taking notes kind of thing. Take a nice deep breath, and as you exhale, allow the tension in your shoulders and your neck to just drain out of your body. And just relax. Take a nice deep breath, and all of the tension leaves your body. And call in the energy of joy. Just call it into the core of your body. You may know it as your solar plexus. And if you find you need help calling that energy in, maybe remember a time when you experienced really great joy. Perhaps the first time you held your child, or ran and splashed in the water on the beach, whatever it is for you. And just allow that energy of joy to flood your body. And feel the difference from just a moment ago. And let that energy expand up into your heart, your shoulders, and your throat, and your head, down your arms to your fingertips, down your legs to your toes, and expand outside of your body so that you're encapsulated in this beautiful, peaceful energy of joy. And when you shift into this joy, you shift the frequency that communicates with your world. It communicates with your employees, your buyers, your family, and your world. Shifting you into a place where you create joyful experiences, or at a minimum, reducing the static of the difficult experiences. And this is something that you can use. We stopped what we were doing right now, but you don't have to do that. When you practice it, you'll get better at it. And this is something that you can do even when you're in a meeting. As the other people are talking, just shift into that energy of joy, call it in. And it may not have come to you easily this first time, but as you do it repeatedly, it will get easier and easier, I promise. I hope you really enjoyed this mini training and you got a lot out of it. Now I know, I said in the beginning it might feel a little scary, but it's not really, right? The key though is you have to apply this to your life. You can't take the things that I'm teaching you and, listen to them and go, okay, because you know what? That's just nice information. it's not useful if you don't apply it. So I really want you to get this, and I really want you to make those shifts in your life that I know you deserve. So I have a 1 hour, completely free, no strings attached training for you on my entire quantum results formula. Does that sound good? Would you like the full training? If you would, go to quantumresultsformula.com/register and put in your name and email, and I will send it to you immediately. Look, the reason you don't have all of the things that you want in your life, you were meant to have them. Your life was not meant to be a struggle. Your life wasn't meant to be a circle of getting up in the morning, driving to work, working, coming home at night, watching TV, maybe self-medicating a little bit with food, alcohol, even some drugs, sleeping, and then getting up the next day and doing it all over again. That's not what life is meant for. Your life is meant to be easy, joyful, abundant, and fun. And if you want that, get my free training. There's no strings attached. There's nothing for sale. It's just all about you. So quantumresultsformula.com/register, and I hope to see you there. Thank you.
Everything felt different. And all of a sudden, it's like, I got to call Deborah. And a few hours later on Thursday, I made the biggest art sale of my life. I think I sold as much art in 2 hours as I did all of last year together.